The Yappening is a new event to come to Halo Infinite. Running for 2 weeks, it brings a limited time playlist with multiple game types, new shop items, and a new free event pass for all players. So let's break down how this event compares to previous ones. The Yappening is the third of its name for the Halo franchise. Beginning in Halo Wars 2 in March of 2018, and only running for a single weekend, Yap the Destroyer got a hold of the Halo Wars 2 servers and decided to go wild by changing a bunch of settings in the game and creating utter chaos. There were changes to the gameplay like power only being obtained from power nodes and even leader powers being completely free to use. The Yappening would go down as one of the most fun events from Halo Wars 2. About a year later, the Yappening would return in the Master Chief Collection for April Fools of 2019. Yap would return to the game and bring all new chaos. This update added Halo 2 campaign skulls into the multiplayer mode, with a playlist of new and unique game types that weren't possible before the update. From bottomless clip needlers being used to push near invincible people off King of the Hill, or brute shots pushing crates into your enemies. The Yappening stayed true to its chaos that it brought when it first was introduced in Halo Wars 2. Today, we have the most recent iteration of the Yappening, but it's not even on April Fools. Instead of Yap the Destroyer bringing us all new modes by hacking into 343 Industries, we got a comic introducing us to a new grunt by the name of Flipflop, who wants nothing more than to be aligned with the UNSC. He even goes as far to paint his armor green and put a little homemade UNSC insignia on it. Flipflop has decided to bring his new human friends a bunch of crazy cosmetics that are able to be unlocked by playing the new Yappening playlist. This rewards pass is pretty on par with previous events, so let's break down all of the items available. The first tier is the backdrop Slippery Wind Wet, and it's fine. It's a backdrop, but it does seem to match the silly energy of this event and Flipflop, so I'm totally okay with it. Tier 2 is an AI color, Airday Tyrene, which is the foreigner's name for Earth. Honestly, I don't change my AI color all that much, so this one's just fine too. Tier 3 is the Platinum Marigold for the Assault Rifle. White and yellow is a nice break from the bombardment of red and black skins 343 seems to be obsessed with, so I really like this skin. Tier 4 is a gorgeous looking purple visor called Free Hugs. Ever since 343 has opened up cross-core visors have felt much more valuable, especially in a standout color such as this. Tier 5 is the Quillhawk, a helmet attachment for the default Rakshasa helmet. While I like this attachment a lot, I'm not a huge fan of the actual helmet, so I almost certainly will never run it. I think it's pretty odd to release an attachment that's only usable with only a single helmet. Tier 6 is a banana charm. It's fine. It's silly. Actually, I love it. It's the greatest charm in the game. At Tier 7, we have Citron White for the Mark 7. While I like this coating a lot, I'm disappointed it isn't a different coating. They put a coating in the store that looks just like a grunt. So this one is good and unique and bright, but I wish we got the grunt coating instead. Tier 8 is the Platinum Marigold coating for the Sidekick. Same as the Assault Rifle, just not as big a deal because we already have a white coating from a previous event, but it's not a bad item. Tier 9 is the Captain's Pride stance. And while I don't have anything wrong with the stance, I think that this is the weakest item in the event pass. Not because it's bad, but rather that it doesn't fit the same mood as every other item in the pass. This one isn't silly or flashy. It almost feels like they just needed a final item and yank something out of a store bundle. Finally, Tier 10 is the Entropy of Spring Death Effect. This is our first free death effect in the game, and I love it. It has multiple looks, the sound is pretty short so it's not that annoying, and it really feels like this item would be a part of the Yappening event. So, those are the items, minus the shop that I'm never going to buy anything from. But what about the game types? What new has the Yappening brought to the table? Well, lo and behold, we finally have an event that brings us something new. The last events have just been rehashes, from land grab to last Spartan standing. This event is focused on casual fun, and what better place to do that than the Big Team Battle playlist? First and foremost is Fiesta on all of the Big Team modes. That means Slayer, Capture the Flag, Stockpile, and Total Control with random weapons and equipment on spawn. But even that has changed a little from the normal arena Fiesta game type. Weapons and equipment still spawn on the map. Not only that, but they have a chance of spawning as their campaign rec versions. This is the only way to use these weapons in multiplayer, other than getting them from the loot caves and fragmentation. And on top of that, vehicle pads completely randomize every time that one is destroyed. From Gun Goose to Wraith to Wasp, these BTB maps are filled with vehicular carnage. That is, of course, if you can get your vehicle to the other side of the map. I'm looking at you, Breaker. There's also shoddy snipes and team snipers. And while I'm not the biggest fan of sniper modes, these were really fun on the wide open Big Team Battle maps. It almost feels like a Halo Reach Trench Wars custom game when the teams are shooting from base to base on Deadlock. This mode also has vehicles, but because everyone has these power weapon sniper rifles, they're nothing but death traps. The final new mode is Skocket Slayer, what seems to be an expansion from Rocket Repulsors, which was introduced and is now removed from the free-for-all playlist. Players spawn with rockets, skewers, and repulsors, and can find other equipment and vehicles placed on the map. This mode is fun and sees some of the most chaos I've ever seen in Infinite. There's something so funny about a million rockets being shot off in the distance. While I do love this playlist and its modes, I do have a small criticism. While the game is wacky and chaotic with the random weapons and vehicles, I honestly don't think that it lives up to the name of the Yappening. The Halo Wars 2 and Master Chief Collection events were so unique that other than the Skocket Slayer, none of the other Infinite game types feel as deserving of the name. But that isn't something to dwell on. This is a well-needed W for 343, and this may be the last event we get before the winter update, other than Fracture and Trench a couple more times. We have around 2 months left until then, and I continue to be hopelessly optimistic about Halo Infinite. And that's all until the next event. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.